We often look for simple explanations for complex events. Plane crashes are a perfect example. We want to blame a single cause, a single person, a single malfunction. But Malcolm Gladwell showed us that's rarely the case. He explored a fascinating idea: the role of culture and communication in these disasters. He didn't suggest that any ethnicity is inherently more prone to accidents, but he showed how different communication styles can dramatically influence how pilots handle difficult situations. Think about the way people from different backgrounds might approach a problem, especially in high-pressure situations. A direct, blunt communication style might be perfectly acceptable in one culture, but interpreted as rude or dismissive in another. In the cockpit, where clear, concise communication is essential, cultural differences in communication can have life or death consequences. These differences aren't good or bad, they're just different. It's not about judging, it's about understanding how these subtle nuances can impact critical decision-making during a crisis. It's about recognizing that a seemingly minor misunderstanding can escalate into a major problem. A pilot might hesitate to point out an error for fear of causing offense. Another might interpret silence as agreement. This can cause a chain reaction, a small problem escalating quickly into a bigger one before anyone realizes the seriousness of the issue. The key is recognizing that these situations aren't about blame but about understanding how cultural differences and how information is communicated can lead to misinterpretations in high-stress environments. We need to think about how to train pilots, air traffic controllers, and everyone involved in aviation to recognize and address these potential communication barriers, which might involve developing more sensitive communication protocols or improved training methods that address cultural differences. The point isn't to change anyone's communication style, but to create a system that works for everyone, regardless of their background. The goal is to foster a culture of open communication where everyone feels comfortable speaking up, no matter their background. A simple yes or no might not convey enough information in the heat of the moment. An additional, brief explanation can avert a potentially dangerous situation. Think about how clear instructions are often misinterpreted, resulting in more questions or confusion. Even experienced professionals are vulnerable. The pressure in a cockpit is immense, and it magnifies any pre-existing communication barriers. It's not a question of who's right or wrong, but how to ensure that everyone involved understands each other perfectly. This is why it's so vital for everyone in the aviation industry to be aware of these potential cultural communication problems. Creating a safe and efficient system demands a profound understanding of how cultural differences might affect the way information is given and received. These differences aren't inherent flaws or weaknesses. They are simply variations in how we communicate and interact. The solution is training and education, focusing on improving communication across cultural lines. By fostering a collaborative and communicative environment, we can significantly reduce the likelihood of miscommunication and potential accidents. Aviation safety isn't just about technology. It's about effective communication, understanding the human factor, and accounting for the diverse backgrounds of people working together in high-pressure circumstances. We must recognize that the human element is as crucial as the technological one, which is why understanding communication styles is so vital. The goal is to create a system that not only identifies problems, but prevents them before they even start, using effective communication strategies. This understanding is not just important for plane crashes, but applies to countless situations in modern life, where effective communication bridges cultural divides. It's a reminder that effective communication, particularly in high-pressure situations, is about understanding not just the words, but the nuances of how those words are presented and received. It's about recognizing the subtle ways that our backgrounds shape our communication and actively working to bridge those gaps. It's about fostering a culture where speaking up, no matter the cultural background of the speaker, is encouraged and seen as a vital part of ensuring safety. A culture where any hesitation or ambiguity is addressed promptly and thoughtfully. A culture of trust and clear understanding among the individuals operating within that system. This approach is vital not just for aviation, but for any field that involves complex teamwork, especially under pressure. This means creating a system that values open communication and actively works to bridge cultural differences. In essence, understanding the human side of these accidents highlights the need to create environments where everyone feels comfortable, safe, and understood. It's not about changing individuals, but enhancing how people work together. It's about creating a collaborative, communicative environment where every person, regardless of their communication style, feels comfortable speaking up and contributing their expertise. This is essential, not just for aviation safety, but for countless other industries where effective teamwork is crucial. It's a deeper understanding of how culture influences communication and the impact that has on safety. This applies to every field, where effective communication is more than simply transmitting information. It's about creating an environment where everyone is heard, understood, and empowered to contribute. The ultimate goal is to make sure everyone involved feels comfortable speaking up, preventing minor issues from escalating into larger problems. The key is to build a system that is not only technically sound, but also culturally sensitive and understanding. Imagine a scenario where a pilot is hesitant to report a slight problem, thinking it might appear trivial. This hesitation, fueled by subtle cultural differences in communication, could lead to a larger issue down the line. Addressing this requires a multifaceted approach: training, communication protocols, and a change in mindset that values and respects diverse approaches. It is not a case of blaming anyone, but of building systems that accommodate the nuances of communication. This isn't just about safety. It's about building a stronger, more collaborative workforce. It's not about changing individuals, but rather optimizing how people communicate and work together, creating a safer system for everyone. Therefore, this understanding of how culture shapes communication isn't limited to plane crashes. It's a lesson in creating better communication and collaboration across all fields. It's about understanding how cultural nuances affect communication and building systems to mitigate those effects in high-pressure environments.